turn me off with the mic? Well, anyway, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thank you all for coming here. Give yourselves a hand of applause. So my name is Brenly. The title for my workshop is Stop Doing and Start Being. And the reason why I picked that title is because I've been taking a leadership training program for the last 6 months, and what I learned over the program and what I learned in my life is that society teaches us that we have to keep doing, and then eventually we'll be happy. Or they teach us to keep doing, working, and then the money's gonna make us happy. Or then we'll get that relationship. Or then something else will happen. So before I begin, I just want to let you guys know what's going to be happening over the next 2.5 hours. So the first session is for 2.5 hours. Then we're going to get about 30-minute break, 45-minute break to get some food, and then the next session's going to start. And I will be your facilitator. Are you guys excited about that? All right, perfect. So now that we're all here, as your facilitator, I do have some requests. Lourdes is gonna love this. No side talking. That's the first one. So can we call these ground rules? Okay. So we all made, a choice to be here this morning. So we want to respect everyone's time. We want to make sure that we're all here, that we're all present, and that we're all focused for what we're about to learn. So, ground rule number 1 is no side talking. Second ground rule is your cell phones. So let's put them all on vibrate. Actually, let's put them on silent because those galaxies are really loud when they vibrate. So it's like, why even have it on vibrate? So let's have them on silent or shut them off. This morning's about you guys. It's about you guys to get present, you guys to get focused. The third ground rule is we're going to be having breaks at the end. Like I mentioned, this time is going to go really fast, so don't worry about it. And the last ground rule is ground rule of honesty. We're going to be sharing here personal stuff, or if it's not personal, maybe someone else may have an experience, or maybe you may have an experience. So you want to make sure that the room is filled with confidentiality so that we all trust each other, and we're not going to feel like someone else is going to go out and share our personal information. So raise your hand to make sure that you're all aligned with all those ground rules. I need everybody's hands up. Everybody's hands up. All right, perfect. I want to make sure that no one goes out there and shares personal information or personal experience that they have. Now, this workshop is not going to be me talking the whole time, so that's awesome for you guys. And it's going to be more of an interactive workshop. So you guys are going to be pairing up in groups. You're going to be learning from each other. We're going to be sharing. Is anybody here afraid of public speaking? Nobody? Okay, so if you guys are afraid of public speaking, don't see it as, the whole attention's on you. See it as an opportunity to focus out. And see it as an opportunity to contribute, and see it as an opportunity to inspire someone because they may be thinking what you're thinking. So if you do share, you're going to be able to inspire other people and really land that message. All right, guys, so stop doing and start being. So start doing and stop being. The reason why I decided to share this with you guys is, again, society teaches us to always do this, always do that, and then eventually we'll get happy. So we end up living a life where we're not fulfilled. And we end up living a life where we're constantly working and we're not really connecting with people. because what we do isn't exactly who we are. What we are is our ways of being. So a way of being could be happiness. So if you're making, let's say, your son a sandwich, right? If you're happy when you're making him the sandwich and you're excited about it and you're present and you're thinking about how happy he's gonna be at the end of the sandwich probably gonna taste delicious. But if you're just doing it just to do it and to get it out of the way and you're just throwing stuff together, you might forget that he's allergic to shrimp, and then you may put it there, and then he's gonna eat it, and then he's gonna think, okay, she doesn't care about me. She's trying to kill me, but she does love you because she's coming from a place of love. She's coming from a place of caring. The thing is that you didn't bring that quality of presence in that moment, so you forgot about the shrimp. Right? We don't want any of that stuff to happen. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go over the different ways of being before we start the first exercise. And what's here is we're human beings, not human doings. Have you guys heard that before? So we're human beings, not human doings. What this means, it was said by Rick Warren. He wrote the book, A Purposeful Life. A Purpose-Driven Life. Thank you, Anna. So what he tries to say here is that eventually we're all in this earth for a reason. We're all here, we're not here to send emails. We're not here to do, laundry. We're not here to do any of that. We have to do that, obviously. But when you're 90 years old and you're on your deathbed, you want people around you. You don't want to be thinking, man, I sent the most emails, or you don't want to be remembered as the guy who sent the most emails or ran the most errands. You want to think to yourself, man, did I care more? Did I listen? Was I there for him? Was I there for her? Did I become better? So that's what we're going to discuss today, those different qualities. So I need a volunteer to read what's on the board. We're going to discuss the difference of doing and being. Can someone from the crowd raise their hand and volunteer?
George.
George.
The first one, right?
Yeah.
Doing. Performing, taking action that has a purpose of gaining something. Everything? Doing is an outward looking on how to interact with our environment and other people, shift focus from ourselves to our surroundings, centered to the future, driven by thinking. Being. Simple existence, focused inward, great awareness, focused on presentation, allow reflection, and does not try to affect how of events.
Awesome. Give George a hand of applause. So, there's a big difference between doing and being. And I'm going to show you guys a story about my life. Those of you that don't know me, I grew up in the Dominican Republic. I came here when I was 9 years old. I went to school in Bayonne. I grew up in Bayonne. And I ended up starting a real estate career. And when I started my real estate career, I was the type of person that, have you guys seen those horses with the two pieces of cardboard on the thing? That was me. So when I first started my real estate career, all I did was literally make phone calls. I made phone calls. There was a conference room, all the way in the back, and no one went in the conference room because Brenly was making phone calls. I didn't connect with anyone. I was literally, coming into work at 8 in the morning, and I left 9 o'clock at night. I didn't make any connections with anyone. I wasn't socializing with anyone. I was basically just having transactional-based relationships. Because why? Because my mindset was, I don't have time for family. I don't have time for friends. I don't have time for anything. I just gotta work, work, work. And it was to the point where I was prospecting and making sales calls for hours. And if there's a fire in that building, you weren't gonna get me out of there. I was just gonna stay there making phone calls. Maybe if I feel a little burn, I'll leave, I'll think about it. But that was just how tunnel vision I was. And what ended up happening, I started working like that for about 1.5 years, and it's tax season. So tax season, a lot of people like it because they get money back, right? So I'm looking at my taxes, I'm filling it out, whatever. I look at my tax return that year, and it was the saddest day of my life. I'm looking at the numbers, it's not adding up. You know, I call my accountant and it says $30,000. So I don't know if $30,000 may be a lot for you guys, or maybe too little, but the idea is that I traded 1.5 years of my life in exchange for $30,000. And you can't put a price on time. And the reason why that was the saddest day of my life was because family members were reaching out to me, people were reaching out to me, and again, I just didn't make any connections. I was just doing. I was driven by thinking. I wasn't doing anything. There was no qualities of being behind my actions. So could you guys agree that I was probably cold when making phone calls?
Yes.
Would you guys agree that I was probably disconnected? Was I touching hearts?
No.
Probably not. And then that same way of being, because I was doing, I was having transactional-based relationships because none of my clients would ever call me back. So I would constantly have to keep looking for new clients. I never connected with them. Again, I didn't have friends. My family members kept calling me. I just never picked up. I was super cold. And then that day, I decided that, you know what? My life is not worth $30,000. There's a way that maybe I can do both. Or maybe let me try out connecting with someone because right now I feel empty inside. And then that started a different path in my life where I started connecting with people. I started to be vulnerable. I started being loving. I started to care more. I really started to connect with people. And that was the biggest change in my life. Because now I have people that love me. You guys came to support me. Thank you. And now it's, obviously the money has nothing to do with it, but I feel richer. Not because I'm making more, because again, it's not about the money. The money comes and goes. Money doesn't fulfill your happiness. It doesn't fulfill your goal. And that's what doing in society makes you believe. The reason why I feel rich is because I feel that I can authentically and vulnerably give someone a compliment. So now I feel like I can call a client, and if something's wrong with them, or I feel like there's something not right, I can say, hey, let's forget about, real estate for a bit. How are you doing today? Hey, it's Christmas, let me write you a letter. Or maybe I can call my mom, who I haven't spoken to in so long, and say, hey mom, how are you doing? So being vulnerable and being connected with people and being present in the moment are some of the qualities that you guys are going to learn today. And you're going to be able to implement that in your life. Now, when you're present with someone and you're there, you're not thinking about what happened 15 seconds ago. Because then you're probably thinking, hey, maybe I could have said something else to this client, or man, I should have done this differently. Now you're coming from a mindset of regretfulness. And if you bring that to the conversation, are you going to get good results or bad results? bad results. The person's probably not gonna connect with you. They're gonna expect you to say or repeat back what you said. You're not gonna be able to because you're thinking about what you have to do later on or what you have to do tomorrow.